on the right. We just saw them. We didn't see them, but we saw them. We heard, or I saw at least, or everybody else watching the other stream probably saw, but they did beat Fnatic. We then had on this stream, of course, they lost to Gambit Gaming, and now paiN, who have also lost to Gambit, looking to pick up a win here potentially against Millennium. paiN from Brazil. Certainly the underdogs here in this tournament, and Millennium looking quite strong here as one of the top European contenders for this tournament as well. A win against Fnatic, a loss to Gambit. Not a bad way to split your games, but they would really love a win here as well if they could pick it up. And right now the bans have started. Thresh is a quick ban out here. I don't think paiN want to fight that anymore. Draven banned out there as well, very targeted there towards paiN's AD carry player. Fears, of course, against Tabs. And we are caught up here on the draft. My name, of course, is paiN, and I'm going to be joined by Papa Smithy. Papa, how are we feeling? We're getting later and later into the night, but the games are still good.
Still going strong. I can hear you picking up a couple of octaves. Clearly you've recharged your batteries. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, Millennium went into their first game against Fnatic as the clear underdogs and took that one down, and now paiN's in the same position against Millennium. As we said, definitely the David and the David versus Goliath story all through this tournament. paiN, the target ban to Dravens and Anivia, those are two very, very standbys of BRTT and Kami respectively, so unfortunate there, but on the blue side this time, they obviously won the coin toss. What have paiN got to show us this time?
I guess we're going to find out soon. Anivia banned out here as well against paiN. Nunu, the last ban there from paiN, so clearly have done a little bit of homework here, at least in watching the other games.
The takeaway from that game that we got to see there, British time, is the Nunu ban seems to be the significant one, but Thresh also.
Yeah, and I think Thresh is a pretty important ban here, especially against the European teams. So, last ban here from Millennium. What do they not want to give away? KO would be a pretty fitting ban here for this tournament. But no, they're going to potentially give that away here as Misfortune is the last ban out from them.
And you have to think it's going to be the KO lock-in here. I mean, it's not a case where she's dramatically overpowered, but she does so many things well, but so does this man as well. I think that has to be the decision here. Do you want that KO? Is Kami confident on KO? Do they have KO comes to want to run, or do they just want to go for the jungler of all junglers, the jungle pressure kings in Zhao?
Well, looks like they're selecting Xin Zhao for the moment. I mean, with the way this draft has worked out, there's so many targeted bans that something has to fall through here, and Xin Zhao is going to go there to paiN as their first pick, and now Millennium have some very strong champions to pick from here.
I would be dumbfounded if we didn't see a Kale pick here. I'm so fresh, a known Kale jungle, although he's picked up Lee Sin here. Tabs can definitely play in the mid, but to see Kale fall through picks and bans on the 3.02 patch, my goodness, maybe I'm going to have to eat my words.
Well, for now you are. There's Varus and Lee Sin there from Millennium. I mean, to paiN one, and maybe it's something that... Apologies, the next song started playing. We're good though. That was very random. I apologize. Apparently I hit mute, not pause, and then it unmuted itself magically. But, back to the game. There is Kale. Alright. Kale Renekton going to get picked up here. Lots and lots of shred. In fact, tons of shred.
So we have a 15% armor reduction, a potential 35% AoE armor pen, and of course Kale is, I believe, also an armor reduction, a 15% as well with 5 auto attacks.
Correct.
So that's already feeling quite naked on the Millennium side.
Yeah, that is, I don't know, maybe they've been practicing their fine cooking skills, because there's a lot of shredding they're going to be doing with those three champions. I guess what
I don't know about that line. You could have done better.
I could have. That's right.
You could have made a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
reference. So you can have the next one. It's totally fine. We'll trade horrible puns all game.
Do you reckon they could pull out 5 shred champions?
I don't think so. I think that. I mean, is there an AD carry that has?
Okay, I guess someone could buy Black Cleaver.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Misfortune's banned, so the regular Black Cleaver AD is not going to come up here. But Rumble's going to go into the pile there from Millennium, and Leona as well from the looks of things. So pretty aggressive bottom lane. This is one of the cooler Varus-based lanes you can run, but you get
3 out of 5 common champs though, based your time after from them lost to Gambit.
Yep. Rumble's back, Varus is back, and Jungle Lee Sin is back. Letting their mid going to be the last pick here. I guess they haven't quite figured out what they want to run against Kale potentially, or maybe if they're setting up for some sort of swap to pressure Kale in a 2v1. And they've got to figure out exactly where they can land the rest of their champions. But we've got a couple picks here still from paiN. Vayne at least would be so sweet. And they're thinking about it.
That would be a crazy bottom lane.
That would be a crazy bottom lane. That's 2 crazy bottom lanes.
And we talk a lot about, I mean, the question you've posed to me a couple of times is that Vayne Sona lane, where it doesn't really make sense to have paiN, a champion usually noted for a lack of levels, say 2 through 6 pressure down bottom, with an aggressive poke-orientated lane. And look, they've gone almost the same. A slightly more defensive, but still very poke-heavy Lulu pick here.
Yep, and so Lulu Van's going to be their lane. Lulu, of course, synergizes very well with Xin Zhao and Renekton, who really need to get in there to start attacking people and getting their armor shredded. I don't think that's going to be the pick here from Millennium, but they will actually be my heroes if they pick
Tabs
armor.
gets the last pick here.
And he is known for playing some pretty creative mids.
So what's the solution to the KO problem?
It might honestly be... Oh, please pick Comet. No. Alright, Karthus. Karthus is not the solution, I can tell you that much. But
well,
it may...
I mean, he can hide.
He can hide, yes. It's certainly not going to win any trades, especially early on, but he can hide. He can farm from a long range with that lay waste, and that has to be the plan here for Millennium. I mean, again, they do have some lane swap options here, but I have to think that they're probably just going to... Wherever Karthus goes, in fact, he's just going to have to farm safely. Especially if he's... I mean, either way, if he's 1v1 versus KL or 1v2 in any other lane, he's going to have to be very, very careful. I mean... Millennium have the side to put their AP mid bottom lane. You know, they can get the early blue buff here. Let I'm So Fresh start red first, and they could swap up here and try and pressure KL early on. That is an option.
That's a good out of the box thinking here, because with Karthus on the purple side, you make the point we got a no mana jungler here. So theoretically, Tabs could take blue buff and go down bot side. I don't mind the Karthus pick against KL just because Karthus. He's always been known for his lay waste farming. That's 875 range, 650 range on Kale's Q, and 525 range on Righteous Fury when he goes into ranged form. You know, the 200 range buffer there does allow him to CS quite safely in lane, but the turret dives come aplenty after level 6.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is he basically just has to stay safe and farm passively, more so than Karthus generally has to do. I mean, the exhaust here is nice. It's generally what you pick up on Karthus, and it's going to serve him well here in any tower dive situation, especially as Kale goes in. So if Tabs is confident about his ability here against Kale, and he would have played the matchup quite a few times, then they made the right pick here, because it's a good pick. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Karthus. In fact, we probably see him precious little at this point, it feels like. But I mean, Kale is just such a strong laner. It's so scary to me to ever lane Kale in any situation, just because she's such a strong bully. And if she starts snowballing, it can be an absolute train wreck for you. So, Tabs, you're gonna have to be very safe and sound here on Karthus. But if they can get it done, then as long as Kale doesn't get too crazy, then they're gonna be all right. Although there's still plenty of other things for Millennium to worry about here as well. paiN have actually put together quite a nice comp here. Although Sir T, is going to run into I'm So Fresh. He's just going to kick him in the back.
I have to say, look at the starting items here. We see an item start that's been almost complete.
Oh, Zenith Blade there catches the stun. Sir T just walks out, loses about half his health.
Summoner's blown.
I mean, intelligently as well. He knew he wasn't going to die.
But a Boots start from coming out from Kale here. Boots, part 1 ward. If Millennium did spot that, this would be a time where I'd be like, let's 2v1 him, because only one part in this sustain-heavy start for Season 3 would be very difficult to deal with a 2v1 lane there, Kale.
I like what Karthus has done regardless, though. He's actually got Fairy Charm, 5 pots, Ward,
ambiguous.
and a Mana Pot. Very ambiguous, but I mean, I think either way he's going to want a lot of sustain, because he's expecting to take a lot of damage in either case. Oh, he's... Okay, what is going on here? They are going to make a lane swap, but not the one I thought they were going to. Anguish actually going to go bottom lane here. He's going to team up with Karthus to do Wolves. And looks like we're going to have Renekton 1v2 top lane here against Varus and Leona, which is potentially very devastating for Renekton. He could get killed by that combo. As I said, it's kind of a funky kill lane, but you got a lot of wombo combo potential here between these two champions.
The one thing you can say, though, is he does not have the red pod style that's favored on a lot of Renektons. We were watching Godlight versus Macnoon in a match yesterday, and the red pot came up trumps. Renekton, even in a 1v2 lane, can pick up a sneaky level 2 kill if he goes in with a red pot, but he's gone for the sustain heavy, try to win a 1v1 lane build. He'll have sustain, but he's going to find 2 people in his lane and be a bit sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he did expect this build is even better. I mean, against Rumble, you might want to play it safe because it can be tricky. Anguish has a teleport here too as well, which is going to serve him probably some use. The igniting top lane, probably not so much for T2, at least in the early laning phase here, but Again, I like what Renekton's doing. He's going to get completely zoned out of CS, by the way. That's the plan here, it looks like, from Millennium. Varus just...
As an aside, your cursor is on the screen with the black box.
Yes, it is. That's weird. I could have sworn I disabled that, but let me just disable it here. I have 2 different scenes with the same thing on it. But there we are. It's moved around. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Just a quick game source related issue in XSplit. But hey, not a hard fix. You just have to tell me before it becomes too obnoxious. And you did, so thank you. But we return now. As I said, I mean, Renekton's getting completely zoned out of CS, so we've got 2 different brush camping going on here. As Fat Mama's just chilling here in this brush in the river, and Kraton was sneaking in there, just last hitting the creeps. He's trying to make sure they push as slowly as possible, I suppose. Does not want the lane to push at all. And level 1 Renekton, so he's about to hit 2 if he's in experience range to the next creep, but it's painful right now. He's finally hits level 2.
And Karthus so far is quite happy. He's had to use his mana pot there as he's been layer wasting like crazy, but not taking that massive trade damage that Kami can put out on Kayle.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting as Karthus to have 1 mana pot specifically, because obviously once you pick up Defile, you get passive mana when you kill an enemy. So he has a little bit of built-in sustain there as well. So I guess if you get it to kind of get you to level 2 so you can spam layer waste, then you can maybe measure yourself a little bit more in terms of mana management. And go from there. And it's kind of cute. I like what Tabs did again. I think against this lane we expect to take a lot of damage, particularly.
Now, how patient is Sir T going to be here? Because he's there for what looks like is actually going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's waiting on this very thing here. I mean, it's a little bit late, but 4-minute 3-man dive, and there they goes in. Sir T, though, turns around, and Fat Mama takes a lot of damage in there from Xin Zhao. Going to get out of the way.
That was justified there, Pastry Time. They could have picked up a kill there, and just Sir T... You know, you have to be confident as a jungler because you're wasting a lot of time. It was there for about 20 seconds, but paid off.
And that awareness is obviously a very strong characteristic in any of the good junglers, but I think Sir T had a pretty good percentage there to have that happen, because even if he didn't know Lee Sin was going to be there, in fact, the reason Leona might have got away is due to I'm So Fresh's presence, but he saw that they were looking to dive, and he's actually still here. Yeah, he's going to gank Leona. Leona's like, oh goodness, I don't have a flash anymore. Audacious charging into the red buff slow. T2 in there as well. Fat Mama taking quite a bit of damage. 3-talent strike, not quite procking. And Kraton coming up. Now it's Anguish teleporting in as well. First ball though to Varus, as Fat Mama's going to go down there to Xin who flashes out of the way. But 3 members now of Millennium trying to chase down this Xin Zhao. I'm So Fresh, he needs literally 1 Q to hit here, and he's true to be able to secure the kill. He does get it. There's the follow-up. Tempest into Cripple's going to happen, and that's probably a dead Xin Zhao. He does not have his flash, and now Rumble even flashing forward for Flames. Bit of damage. Audacious charge out, but Tabs is like, hey, thanks for the kill, buddy. I'll take it.
And it looked like he juked into mid just to have a target to E into, but the downside there is that Karthus didn't just get assist gold from that. He actually picked up the kill, so extra gold going to Millennium there. Very unfortunate.
And it's a really fast tier for Tabs as well. He's gone back and already purchased it. He's got a blasting one as well. Jeez. That's going to make his last hitting with the Qs much easier here in mid lane.
His level 6 ult as well will do more damage than expected.
Which is a little thing, but it's certainly true. It doesn't have the best AP ratio, but you're right, it will definitely help. And level 1 Karthus Ult has been nerfed to the point where it does not do very much damage, so we're going to have a bit of surprise here. I mean, when
was the last time you saw a Karthus pick up an item other than Tear or Catalyst, before about 10 minutes? That you can almost always say that the ult's going to be hitting for around 265 damage before resists at level 6. This one's already hitting for 296, so it could be only a 20-25 damage difference, but if you're used to making calculations based on that, it throws you off.
And you're right, you're usually used to, okay, this is how much I expect to take. And that extra 40 damage or so will make a big difference. I mean, that is easily the difference between a kill and someone getting away there with Requiem, so it's a kind of a nice choice. I think I like it, though. I mean, I didn't even notice the ult synergy until you pointed it out. I mean, it's obvious, right? You get more AP, your spells do more damage. Funny how that works. But for me, it was like, yeah, that's going to make his Q last hitting easier, make his farm and the pushing that he's trying to do here in mid lane really good. And this is something that if you can do in mid against Kayle, it's very hard to outpush Kayle. But if you can, you're in such a good space, because Kayle does not really like it when her waves get pushed. And that's what she's trying to do to you. That's how she bullies you. Well, it's one of the many ways. So if you can outpush Kayle here and just freely farm like Karthus wants to, then you're in a very happy place.
Well, if you're Kayle, you basically give your jungler a free reign to invade the enemy jungle, because your jungler can be confident that you'll have the lane pushed in at all times, and either your jungler can go and invade and know that Karthus can't respond, or you can go invade with your jungler, or even turret dive top or bot since you have that amazing ult utility. Pushing the lane is Kayle's way to play. It facilitates her mid-game dominance, and if they can hold that back from her, it's just one of those kind of ribbons taken away from Kayle.
Yeah, and keeping Kayle down is not an easy task, as I've said. She is a very dominant laner. She's got a good snowball, she's a great bully. And if that wasn't enough, her utility is through the roof. As long as you play it right. Blue buff now going to go over, and looks like both blues are going to get donated here. Very important for Karthus in particular to have blue, but Kayle loves it here as well. That Righteous Fury cooldown needs to go down, 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 so she can try and outpush this Karthus, who I have to say has been doing a very good job so far. The CS is fairly even, but the fact that Tabs is even ahead is usually a good sign for the Karthus player here.
34% CDR already for Kayle since she watched that Stinger pickup.
I mean, we do expect to fast Nashers most of the time on Kayle, so this quick Stinger will facilitate the pushing that she wants to do here. Other than that, I don't know, it's usually either Rabadon's or the Andrew's Torment that's been pretty popular, but I guess with Warmlogs not being as popular, we might not see the Andrews as much as we used to.
Now, one thing I can say here, I've said that too many times today, I realize, is the gold
it's
difference.
A long day, it's all good.
In the first game, Gambit versus paiN, paiN was making the runs early, but Gambit was keeping up in gold from superior mechanics. Here, paiN are a kill down. They're actually ahead in gold. I mean, it's drawing even. It's almost nothing, but at least they're on top of this CSing this game.
Yeah, they're playing a lot more of a passive game than we saw when we saw them last on this stream against Gambit Gaming. I mean, Tier 2 was having a horrible time. Rumble's not doing much better, by the way, so usually you expect to be low CS in 2v1s, but as long as you're even with the other guy who's getting shafted, then you're usually pretty happy, and Tier 2 is at least getting that job done here. Level 6 for Renekton as well. He's not really in danger of dying, so Tier 2 is just, you know, kind of grit and bearing it. That's what you got to do here. I'm So Fresh, Wall of Pain coming out there for the slow, setting up the queue there for Lee Sin. I'm So Fresh actually missed that Sonic Wave, but I don't know if they were really going to get a kill on Kayle, especially with their ult up, so they tried.
And in different ways, I mean, both Rumble and Renekton are terrible champions to turret dive. Even though you have that 2-man advantage, Renekton will add health and AoE magic damage, and the Equalizer so much space control. And Millennium trying to turn in the Dragon, that's being contested.
Lulu's not here, Exhauster coming in onto Sir T. And it's 2v3 right now for paiN. Great Crescent Sweep there from Sir T. Intervention follow-up in there as well. Kami trying to do damage. Here comes BRTT as well. Anguish taking way too much there from Silverbolts. Goes down to Vayne. And Tabs now could donate the double buffs. This will be very bad news. Requiem, though, going to come out. I think Kami's going to live, but it's close. And oh my goodness, even with the Blasting One pickup, she lives. And Varus randomly gets a kill on Renekton in top, as they do manage to find the turret dive. So much for that theory. They're going to get the tower in here as well. So that's a win for Millennium, but everything else there in that situation more or less went to paiN.
And the power of Karthus coming out there. The ult wasn't intended to kill top, but just probably not by chance. The engage, the turret dive came down at the top at the same time. They pick up one of the kills.
Yeah, you're right.
Split the difference.
I forgot that Requiem, you know, is global and affects every champion.
What else up with you today? Look, page time AP affects spells.
Yeah.
And Requiem is global.
Okay, apparently I just am blanking on Requiem all the time. I need to like reread the text or something.
To be fair, Karthus has been out there, you know, he's been out of the competitive scene a little bit, but some things we got to assume.
I was going to say, if I was going to remember anything, I would hope it would be Karthus' ult, but apparently not. But we'll continue on.
Never mind, we'll steam up now.
Selective AP apparently on Karthus. He's got a Catalyst, so I think it's going to be Rod of Ages here after a quick tier from Tabs, which I do like.
So round 2 at the Dragon.
Yep, here they go again. Karthus plenty of Dragon damage here, with those solo lay wastes doing extra damage. So T is kind of in the same spot. He's like, I didn't really like it last time. He's going in for the steal. He gets it! And that's not the worst trade ever. Oh, and Wild Growth there as well. I don't quite know why Lulu used that spell, but I guess they wanted to try something. Equalizer there, forces Espeon to flash away.
Good trade.
Yeah.
For paiN.
1 kill for Dragon is trading up.
Well, he was already 1 and 2, so you know he wasn't worth the full 300 gold to the kill. So
yeah, that's true.
Happy times. But if they manage to pick a turret off it, that'll close down the lead.
Yes. Looks like paiN coming back into defend here from bottom lane, taking their golems, trying to get their head in that regard. Xenoblade will hit there onto Vayne, cleanse out, but still kind of being stunned there by the secondary one. Creaton comes in as well, kick there from Lee Sin, and Varus gonna clean it up. Espeon now, my favorite Pokemon. No. Goodbye, Lulu. Gets picked up there by Creaton for the double kill. I'm sorry.
The momentum switches once again. Their lovely mechanics from I'm So Fresh to hit the Q there.
Yeah, and now Karthus is in trouble. Gets picked up there by Kami. As we said, didn't really expect Karthus to really 1v1 Kayle all that well. And
that's the issue. When Karthus is caught with his pants down in a 1v1 against Kayle, it's pain.
Yes. Horrible
and
pun intended.
Terrible pun that I didn't mean, but yes, it's very painful.
English here.
We're just on what's going on today?
I don't even know. It's getting late.
Talking is hard, guys.
Yeah, English has been really difficult for me today. Ask anyone who I type to at any point during the course of the day. I typoed everything. So luckily my voice is not struggling from nearly the same syndrome.
Down bottom, Creaton misses the ultimate on Xin Zhao.
Never a good thing.
Escapes with his life.
Double buff Varus with a Bilgewater Cutlass. Creaton really likes his play of the Ruined King, by the way. I think this is the 3rd game in a row we've seen, the 2nd one on stream where he's rushed this on Varus. And he's played Varus the 3 times I've seen him today. So
yeah, I mean, it accentuates the percentage health, the percentage magic damage that Varus always does. Now he has percentage current health, but dealt as physical damage. Vayne, of course, very well known for her percentage max true damage, so there's definitely percentage health damage all over the shop here.
Yes, there is. And reminder, we are on the 3.02 patch, so not the live patch with Crazy Blade of the Ruined King, and not the current patch with the hotfixed one. It's the old one, but still a very popular item. I mean, to be fair, before, you know, League of Blade of the Ruined King, that's such a horrible... League of the Ruined King, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, that's class, yeah.
But before that happened, we were seeing this item getting picked up more and more on carries. They seem to be interested in buying it and seeing what it could do. And, you know, champions, like, as you said, Zyphris singled out Zed as one of the best abusers of the old one. So it was being built before, but just more visibility.
It was definitely more suited to the assassin. It wasn't as suited to the right-click damage dealers, just because AD carries already had a lot of compelling options. Adding the attack speed, making it kind of an early game catch-all item, AD, attack speed, scaling into late game because of all the health stacking, that's what made it more of an AD carry item. And it seems like that's what they want to promote. Maybe they've got the balance down right now on live, maybe they don't, it's hard to say, but... yeah, I mean, even despite the lack of attack speed, still a favoured choice during this tournament.
Yeah, they active as well on either the Bilgewater Cutlass, which did get slightly nerfed, but if you have it during early game, it's pretty strong, and obviously on the blade itself. Also gave you a nice dueling tool in lane as well, so it kind of did do everything for an AD.
The 50 damage nerf happened, but I mean, the big issue there is that the 100 cast range they gave it is massive, because 400 range, that is a horrible, horrible range for a targeted spell.
Yeah. And Varus is poking back and forth. I mean, it still definitely works here on Varus regardless, so... I don't know, I wonder how much more Blade we're going to be seeing in the future. I guess the next tournament run patch will be after the hotfix, I'd have to guess.
Yes.
So...
CS all tied up here. Again, only a 200 gold leader for them. I don't even know where that's coming from, paiN. It's so small despite the fact that a turret and 3 kill advantage.
The clutch Dragon Steel, yo. 13,
yeah,
keeping a minute.
That must be it.
I mean, that's the only other global gold they've got. Now a little bit more adds up. For 1,000 up now for Millennium. As that tower in bottom goes down. So the game is heating up here. We've had not a completely stale laning phase, but it's been reasonably passive. I mean, as we said, it's a marked change for paiN, who are really looking to just farm up a lot here and make sure they stay even or ahead on gold. And they've done that for the most part here. They are not behind really at all at this point in the game. But now, you know, Millennium pushing in. paiN got to make something happen. A great solo flare there onto Kale, but just a bit of follow-up poke there. Nobody wanted to tower dive there. And I mean, Rumble could have ulted. Lay Waste could have come in.
They don't really have the follow-up, though. They don't have the Xin Zhao to close the gap and get in there. They kind of all have to walk into place. And when it comes to the turret, you want to burst someone down under the turret and translate that into a quick turret kill.
Yeah, it was
having to walk and close the distance, not as attractive.
Yeah, it was almost like they just wanted to poke down Cal, and that's kind of what Tabs did with those Lay Wastes, but it wasn't enough damage, unfortunately, and they didn't want to commit anything else. So, I mean, one ultimate there for a little bit of poke on Cal is okay, but Kami's regenning and healing back up, of course, with Divine Blessing, so... Millennium just trying to find an opening here. I mean, both teams could really just open this mid-game right up. It's just 1 or 2 key kills to secure some objectives here. And we're going to have a very different game. But right now, we're just kind of waiting to see which team grabs momentum here in the mid-game, because we are approaching that point now. 16.5 minutes have now passed in this game. And I don't know, who do you like for team fights, I guess, if we're going to have them?
See, I really am impressed with Sir T's build here. Now, usually on Xin Zhao, ever since Gambit popularized it, you'll always see a locket, and that is a wonderful choice on him. But in this game, we have AoE magic damage coming down from Anguish. That's Rumble's kit. I'm So Fresh, he's maxed the Tempest Gripple, which does AoE magic damage. Karthus is the king of putting out consistent magic damage during a fight. Varus does magic damage in terms of his percentage health damage. And Leona's kit, again, is also magic. There's so many sources of magic damage coming out. What does Xin Zhao do? He's going to build a really, really quick bulwark.
Yeah, he's got basically all the parts for it right now. Just got to
400 gold shot.
Yeah, just has to upgrade. And that'll give lots and lots
and 30 MR to everyone. I mean, Kale sitting at 68 at the moment. So an extra 15 for her. It's going to be a big difference when it comes to team fight.
And that is just an absurd amount of invisible stats, isn't it? I mean, think about how much gold that's worth. It's definitely worth more than the price you're paying, so don't be fooled.
Well, given to that, they actually have the shred to complement the Vayne damage. So I really like the synergy they're going for and the item choice here. But there is so much damage on the Millennium side. So the next team fight, especially if they manage to get a bullet before it, will be just a really exhilarating one.
Yeah, at this point, Lee Sin's almost... Sorry, Xin Zhao, sorry, it's got to find kind of a good way to go in, but Equalizer there cuts off the rest of paiN towards the back, and now the rest of Millennium are going in. The damage coming out here, Kami trying to do what he can, Tabs walking into position there as Karthus should activate his ultimate. There it comes, the Requiem coming out, intervention there onto Kale and paiN. They're doing it here, Creaton getting stunned up, and that's going to be the last kill there, a 5-for-1 for paiN there as they get the ace. Spain cleaning up the last kill, and what a team fight there. And honestly, Millennium looked like they had that with some pretty good engage, but all but shrugged off there. Espeon the only kill. The support went down. A very worthy trade here for paiN. And
the Millennium team comp did what it was designed to do. You can see there was 3 members of the paiN side flashing red. The key factor there was they just couldn't have the damage to finish up. They didn't have the 1v1 duelist or the assassin or the reset champion to profit from all the AoE magic damage that's going down. Creaton wasn't able to stay alive and pick up the ending. And you have to think, with the Bulwark picked up, the next fight, it might even more heavily go on paiN's side.
And just to kind of reiterate your point about how cleverly Surti is building, imagine what happens there if he doesn't have Aegis. Because it does give...
They would have lost the fight.
Yeah, it gives flat magic
straight
resist.
up.
Yeah.
15 magic resist is the base amount Aegis gives. It actually gives us a low amount of armor. It's only 10 armor for both the Bulwark and the Aegis. It stays at 10. But 15 magic resist, it's become 30 now. When there's AoE damage that you're guaranteed to take, everyone being 30 magic resist more durable, that's about, I believe, about 550 to 600 gold worth of magic resist more durable. That's insane.
It really is, and as you said, if that Aegis wasn't there for Xin, they likely would have lost that fight. I mean, almost without question, actually, they would have lost that fight. I mean,
see, the smart thing here, though, is if he thinks so, he's probably going to pick up Mercs now. If they get a locket very soon, the locket is affected. A locket acts like effective HP. Like all shields, it's affected by resists. So if they just get a locket second there, they're going to have 30 magic resist, then they're going to have about 150 shield, amplified by the resists, which I think that has to make them tanky enough in an AoE fight to win them.
And then, yeah, all their damage deals, Vayne and Kale can just get in there and DPS whoever they need to. And there's a lot of damage in there as well. I mean, we already talked about how much shred is on the paiN Gaming side. And they're ahead right now. I mean, it's not much. About 1,000 gold at this point, but that last team fight had to give them a massive boost of confidence if they weren't feeling too sure about this game. And Millennium, they gotta pull their heads in because they do not want that to happen again.
Well, we were extolling the virtues of Millennium's comp against Fnatic. I just love the amount of free shred they have here. They don't need to build any items to get massive shred. We added it up. 15, 40, 50% if you add in Renekton, 65% if Kale gets full stacks. Vayne's going to go wild after that.
Yeah, they've just got Janitor crew, Vayne plus Kale.
And she went Bloodthirster. I mean, there's a style choice. She could have gone Blade of the Ruin King, she could have gone Bloodthirster, she could have gone Infinity Edge. Sheer attack damage when the enemy has no resist after all the shred feels great.
Yeah, it also means that you're not as liable to get bursted. I mean, the Runic Bulwark's already helping that, but if Kale doesn't have to intervene you, if you can just stay alive and lifesteal and be mobile, then it's much better for Kale to pick a target that's more in the fight. And I mean, they've got to use their Kale and Lulu ults perfectly here. They have to pick their engages properly as well, but I mean, you already said it, Surti's build is looking really nice here, and Millennium are actually on the back foot. They're defending against the push right now. I mean, top lane's pushing in nicely for them. Anguish looking for that perfect ultimate right now on Rumble. But paiN, they feel confident. You know, they're pushing up, they're being aggressive. They want to fight and engage here. I think they recognize that they are slightly ahead, they feel stronger, and they're trying to team fight Millennium here.
They need to kill Vayne. I mean, and Lee Sin's gone a DPS build once again. If they can get a quick assassination onto Vayne, all the shred and tankiness in the world won't make up for the fact that they really need the Vayne to profit on the rest of the team's hard work. And they've got the damage sources. I mean, Rumble, Lee Sin, Karthus, Varus, all capable of killing this Vayne. But I mean, you know, with the intervention, with the Lulu ultimate, it's a tough task to get through.
And we'll see if Millennium can find that one perfect engage. Again, there is not that much between these two teams here in this game. We've got paiN Gaming slightly ahead here. But I mean, Millennium, they can't think, because if they lose this game, they're just going to feel bad. Like, there's no real two ways about that. They're already probably not feeling all that great. They beat Fnatic, they probably feel fantastic after that win on the main stage especially. And to kind of lose to Gambit Gaming in the fashion that they did is got to be a little bit demoralizing. So they've got to put that all the way in the back of their minds and not think about it. Just think about this game and think, okay, we're here, we're playing this game of League of Legends, it's a best of one. How do we win this game right now? What do we need to do? And you're right,
there's less than a 2k gold advantage. It's definitely foreseeable for something to happen here.
Let's kill the Batman, or in this case, maybe Sir T. paiN, though, does activate the final hour. Everybody else going in a little bit of stream like there, but there's the Wild Growth coming in with a great knock-up. SP on there trying to save the carry. BRTT trying to kite off Fat Mama. Intervention there goes down into Zinjal. The fight's still good here. paiN still doing plenty of damage. All that live steal, but Requiem gonna do massive amounts of damage here. And that's at least a double kill as Rumble mops up everybody else. And that one just went to Millennium. Creating the only one left alive. 5 for 4 is the trade there for Millennium. And Varus hobbles back towards the base here. I think just wanting to stop the push here in mid.
I think if you notice that the adaptation in that fight, Creatin's positioning was fabulous there. He lived with his barrier still up, which shows you just how well he was able to get in there, do effective damage, profit from Karthus living a bit longer, getting more damage down, and a Millennium pull out front. So we've spent all this time talking about how well paiN's been playing. Millennium are definitely right back in this game.
I said there wasn't much in it, and there still isn't much in it here. There's a few 100 gold ahead for paiN Gaming still, but this is a very close game. And really, if the teams are going to force these sorts of engagements, it just comes down to which team out-team fights the other one. And right now, in terms of team fights, we're one apiece. paiN have won the first one, Millennium won the second one. paiN had a bit of a better win there in their first one, but to be fair, that was essentially to catch them up, because they must have been a little bit behind in gold if they were only 1,000 ahead after that team fight. And now, approaching the 25-minute mark, Baron is a really big thing that sticks out in the players' minds. And
well, Lulu right now is 1,000 gold up, and you have to say 400 gold of that is being used very, very effectively to have the Oracle's advantage.
Yep. Espeon just clearing out the wards. I mean, Baron Dance is on. If they can take out this top outer turret before anybody else can respond, that'd be really good as well. In fact, Fat Mama getting chased out.
Fail flash coming out from Fat Mama there.
Yeah, Leona just has to use her ult instead. Takes a lot of damage as well. So outer turret here in top lane's probably going to go down. In fact, BRTT just picks it up. vayne is, well, Blade of the Ruined King now. I didn't notice that was up. That gives lifesteal as well, right? Yeah, vayne is going to live through the next fight, I think. It was so close for vayne living just off lifesteal alone through that Requiem. And now with Blade of the Ruined King for extra damage and lifesteal, it works with Kael's hybrid shred as well. If there wasn't already enough awesome synergy here. Red buff's going to go to vayne as well. I mean, this next team fight is very big here. Sir TT going in. Wild Growth in there as well, going to knock up Fat Mama. The rest of Millennium split. They've got to be careful. Leona's going to go down for free there. I'm so fresh now, taking a ton of damage as well, but does safeguard away to Rumble. Now the re-engage comes a great chain of corruption. BRTT though gets intervened at the perfect time, and paiN here just going to stream in for the damage. Titu there tanking up a lot. No Requiem's going to kill anybody here for tabs though, and I think this maybe is just going to be a Baron out for paiN. They're going to do one of two things. They'll push or take Baron, but they need to pick quickly here, because 2 free kills is nice, but it's not going to last forever here, especially as we're not quite at late game yet. Creatin's going to try and defend this turret, but yeah, it's all in vain at this point. And that will
Bit of client lag coming out here, it feels like, but take too much away from that fight, thankfully.
No, I mean, again, just a nice engage for paiN Gaming. I mean, these teams are just trading one team fights back and forth.
And Renekton's flash into, Zinja's flash into the audacious, the Crescent sweep, pushing everyone back. It just won them that fight. And then the Varus ultimate almost baited his team to die there, because they thought about going into the engage when it hit so triumphantly. Got baited by that Kael ult. And a very one team fight there for paiN.
Yeah, and you know, the team that has so much good space control, that has so many good AoE ultimates, you have to think that if they position well in those narrow corridors in the jungle, that they can come out on top. But that was just a brute force through there with Zinja plus Wild Growth, and as you said, Sir T, who's continuing to play very well in this game, building well and Crescent sweeping well as Zinja. And honestly, I think anyone can pick up Zinja and, you know, get some levels, get double buffs, and then mash E and Q and, you know, kill somebody. But
it's using those subtle things, like the fact that his ultimate was that CC was added, that knockback was added. You can use it a bit like the Janna ultimate to displace people. Perfectly done there by Sir T.
Yeah, in fact, I got flashbacks to, if you remember, Epic Gamer when they were trying to qualify. This might be going back a bit for a couple of you. especially if you didn't follow the NA scene for that long. But Double Lives Janna ult in particular, when they were trying to qualify for, I can't even remember what tournament anymore. But he did play support a while, and his Janna ults were legendary. And it was even actually in that spot that we just saw as well, that teamfight in. So I got some very epic flashbacks there to just splitting the enemy team in the perfect spot in the jungle. And hats off to Sir T, he's playing excellently. He's really not carrying his team, but he's holding their flag, that's for sure. I don't know, a lot of people in this chat would really love to see paiN take this one out.
vayne selects to pick up the Giant spell here. With the resist from Bulwark, flat health is the best pickup she'd go for there. I mean, if you just want to spend 1,000 gold, she couldn't get any more efficiency out of any item other than the Giant spell.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about shields and how they affected by resist. Health is not effective HP, it's just straight up HP. Although I am sad to see no Locket here for Sir T. I hope he builds on, but looks like Sunfire Cape is coming out instead. At least for now. I guess Lulu could build one, but she has a Shurelya's, interestingly, which is actually pretty good against all these AoEs that try and lock you down. So T going in again, but a little bit too far from his team. Not in range of the Lulu ult, and that was definitely a mistake there from Xin Zhao.
He has the regen from Bulwark, but still, a team fight now would be on Millennium's terms, so smart to back away here, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, Kale's going to dish out the heals. Xin Zhao will regen him, and blue buff Kale as well is going to be able to throw out enough heals and not run out of mana, so T will be ready to fight again in short order. But unfortunate that paiN have to back off there. And Lulu's ult range is not that long. It's definitely not Kale's ult in terms of range. You've got to make sure Lulu is close enough to you. So it is important where you pick your
comes the
fights.
bait.
This is a very epic bait here from Millennium. Oh goodness, Anguish getting spotted though. They kind of failed that one there because you could spot Rumble, but a nice attempt there from Millennium.
The Oracle's down on Lulu, so they don't have that Oracle's advantage. And if you see here, the ward advantage now has swung to Millennium's side.
Yep, some nice pink ones there. Kind of at the entrance to the Baron pit. Gonna give them
such a tense game here, Beishutan.
Yeah.
Definitely not the one-sided game you might have expected.
No, and the closest game we've seen on stream, actually, so far, anyway. We've had, honestly, I think, yeah, 2 one-sided games at this point. Where Gambit Gaming twice just not even rolled through, but just dismantled their opposition. But this one is very close between these two teams.
So vayne has a really big chunk of gold here. She's on 1,800 gold. Is she going to go for a last Whisper pickup, or is she going to turn that Giant's belt into something, is what I wonder.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon, once BRTT is finished farming. I mean, both teams are very careful here at this point. 30 minutes now. Baron is still on the minds of both teams, and as the death timers tick up and up and up, teams pick their engagers even more carefully. And kind of in the, I guess, the middle part of mid-game. We're approaching late game at this point, but we're not quite there yet.
We have a Warmogs.
We do have a Warmogs. Again, synergizes very well with that Runic Bulwark. And vayne now with a lot more meat. Going to be even harder to kill here for all the AoE.
She still doesn't want to sit in the Leandri's Torment damage from Rumble, or definitely not in the AoE of Karthus, so there still is ways to deal with that health, but you're correct. Stacking health to some degree is complemented by having that free 30 magic resist. And she's probably not too worried about armor at this point.
Yeah, I mean, going from 53 to 83 magic resist is pretty massive here. In fact, I think we might even, if Xin Zhao moves a little bit closer, we should be able to see the jump. Oh, I misclicked on vayne. There we are, 83. That's a world of difference here. And that Warmog's on its own maybe wouldn't be all that good, but certainly in this instance, with the Bulwark as well, a lot happier.
So one thing that's been leveled at, especially the newer teams, the LCS, is that when they get to this sort of spot where, you know, they're feeling good, we can see they're up in gold, they're probably feeling confident having won most of the team fights, how do they translate that into a win? And at the moment, it remains to be seen whether paiN, they have a clear plan here with what to do with the implied advantage they have.
Baron dances on.
There's 2 wards down, they will know if they go towards Baron, but that's the only vision they have.
I mean, who do you think wins a straight-up teamfight, or do you think it even depends on positioning and where you are in the map?
I think with Rumble ult and Karthus is passive, it has to rely on positioning to some degree.
Especially
if Rumble's ult goes down on a choke point, if Karthus can suicide and die in a spot where paiN are forced to fight on, I think Millennium has it, even with the Bulwark pickup and the fairly tanky vayne. On the other hand, if they can force a fight out in the open, a drawn-out fight where no one suicides, I think paiN have the advantage.
And so it's kind of good that paiN are on the blue side, because they're going to get less owned by choke points going towards Baron. They're kind of on the open side.
They still
of the
just
Baron
can't
pit.
let... See, the issue is they just can't let Karthus, Rumble, and the other late game champions on the Millennium side get free farm while they try and work out what to do.
No, because paiN's team, as cool as it is, does not protect Vayne that well. I mean, it's kind of... I mean, I guess Sin Renekton's actually not a bad frontline, so I could have misspoke there. But, I mean, if this goes late game, it could go crazy. But there's the Woggle. Great Crescent Sweep as well. But now it looks like Tabs is going in there, trying to chase him down. But BRTT well and truly out of the way. Fat Mama going in there as well, and Leona. But it's just really good news here. The Requiem coming out. Will it kill anybody? The damage coming out there as well. But no kills yet in
paiN's
paiN.
gonna kill everyone, Pastry
She is. Pentakill. There's the triple. No. Kale steals one away. I think only a Quadra. Maybe just the triple there for Vayne, but...
And an ace for nothing. 5 for 0 exchange for paiN.
They could end the game here if they want to as well.
They've got 30-second retime at 20 seconds on Leona, but they're not too worried about her. She can buy a bit of time with CC.
They can't tank that much. Is a little bit unfortunate, but...
They're going for it.
Yeah, they are. We'll see if this works. And Jar going to take up the turrets. Renekton in there as well. There's the Kayle ult. Very short cooldown on that one. Very useful in this situation. I think they're going to do it. paiN Gaming from Brazil. Millennium looking so good after defeating Fnatic, but not good enough this game. Surti, Vayne, and everybody else on paiN really got to celebrate that win against Millennium. They are a top-tier European team. And